Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar on Unleash the Power of AI, Unlock Peak Productivity with Intelligent Assistants. My name is Soumik Ghosh. I'm Senior Assistant Editor at the Economic Times CIO, and I'm glad to be your moderator and host for today's webinar. Now, traditional tools often fall short of modern business demands, and this leads to inefficiencies. AI-powered assistants offer transformative solutions by automating repetitive tasks. They can provide actionable insights, and of course, they enhance collaboration. In today's webinar, we're going to be looking at productivity in the world of AI and Gen AI, some of the challenges, the use cases that CIOs and CTOs can explore, how AI assistants can be helpful, and how to use Gen AI better. And most importantly, what Adobe is doing to leverage Gen AI. Now, for today's discussion, let me welcome Ketaki Rastogi. She's the solutions consultant at Adobe. Ketaki, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, it's an absolute pleasure hosting you.
Thank you so much, Soumik. It's nice to be here.
All right. Well, Ketaki, a lot of our audience here, they are excited about AI, Gen AI, especially when a lot of them are exploring use cases. We would want to know, how AI can actually enhance productivity to start with, some of the use cases that you're looking at. And also, we would love to know from your experience, what are some of the observations, best practices that you would want to share with IT leaders out here. So with that, I hand it over to you. Take it away.
Thank you, Soumik. Thank you for that great introduction and also for that ask, because that ask is what I'm covering in the session today. Today, we are going to talk about how we as Adobe feel that, generative AI, especially in the document space, can help you boost your productivity, which is a constant challenge in this world where, you're getting content from all directions. We'll also talk about certain use cases that we see, certain personas that we talk to, and how we see that they have, benefited from this technology. We'll also be talking about, what are some tips and tricks? Because very interestingly, in one of the conferences, someone took me aside and said, you showed it very well, but we couldn't really benefit as much from a generative AI solution. And then there was a discussion on what are the best practices around using this solution, enabling the end user to, get most out of these solutions. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then I think the top of the mind for any CXO or any ecosystem that is supporting CXOs is about security, reliability, and assurances, and the guardrails that you need to set up when the teams are using generative AI, right? So I think with that, we can get started.
Absolutely. And folks, I would request you to please share your questions with us. Ketaki here has partnered with a lot of customers, a lot of companies out there, handheld them through their AI journeys. And she knows a lot about the best practices that would come in useful for IT leaders. So feel free to share your questions. We'd be happy to have them addressed for you.
Absolutely. And thanks for pointing that out, Soumik. I always have the Q&A panel open on the right. So I'm reading as I speak. So please feel free to, put in your question. It makes the session more informative, I think.
Sure.
Perfect. Okay, so today we're going to talk about being future ready with having future ready document experiences which are supported by generative AI. I'm a solution consultant with Adobe and have been working in the document space now for over 10 years, right? So why is there a need of such a solution? Why do organization or people you're working with need a generative AI solution in the ecosystem? The need is quite clear. There is something known as an information overload that is happening across our ecosystem, wherein the employees, daily people are working with pen and paper daily, are getting bombarded with information from all directions, be it documents that they are reading, email, texts. They're getting information from everywhere. And approximately, they spend around 2 hours every week reading and analyzing content, as well as rephrasing this content so that it is more consumable to the people that they interact with in their ecosystem. So if you are a procurement person and you want to interact with one of your customers, informing them about the new export policy because this policy has been changed yesterday, is a 200-page document. Reading that would take me to a day or two. But with generative AI, now you have the tools and verification capability that can help you propagate or improve the turnaround time uh, around this documentation and the information collected from it. Also, 85% of your employees are now looking for you to have solutions in the ecosystem, because we have mostly IT teams in this session today, right? You are there supporting your finance team, your HR team, your procurement team, sales team with their technological needs. And this is where you can have a solution which is easy to use, gives you instant results, and improves productivity substantially. So while we know now that there is a clear need of a solution which is empowered by generative AI, we also need to know certain stats around it, right? Will our customers still like us if we consume generative AI and give them, products and services, while internally for our processes we are using generative AI? The answer is absolutely yes. The customers say 65% of them say that they will continue to trust businesses, and business owners also now to improve the productivity within the organization. They would want to empower, the organization with certain solutions, and 90% of CIOs have this as their objective, taking it from 2024 to 2025. Citing that, bringing a generative AI technology in your own ecosystem is not easy, right? There are certain concerns around privacy, security, accuracy that need to be answered by OEMs like us, who are giving you technology that your ecosystem can utilize. We also need to kind of cater to ensuring that deployment isn't complex and you get effective time to value. Also need to address concerns around cost, return on investment, right? So these are a few of the top concerns that have been told to us from a leadership perspective, especially from a CIO's perspective. I think the privacy, security, and accuracy are the top of their mind. So keeping this in mind, Adobe actually has had a lot of experience with AI in the last 2 years. So we have had a decade-long experience wherein we have got Adobe Sensei across all our products. So be it our Experience Cloud, be it our Document Cloud, or be it our Creative Cloud, we have always had Adobe Sensei, maybe recognizing boxes on a form, like this is a text box, this is a signature piece, so on and so forth. And 2 years back, we came out with Adobe's Firefly, which is Adobe's family of creative generative AI models that helps you generate visual content, right? And this year, in 2024, March, we came out with Acrobat's generative AI that helps you be more productive with your documents, right? So we are going to go ahead, deep dive into Adobe's generative AI feature, AI Assistant. We are basically doing these 4 things. First, we are making the documents conversational for you. You can have a ready conversation, you can ask the document, and I'll show you a few demos around this, wherein how easy it is for you to interact with your documents using AI Assistant. Also, you can analyze multiple documents together. So suppose, I'm an end user, I'm someone from, say, the legal team, and I want to understand a few contracts and analyze the addendums also given out with those contracts, right? So with AI Assistant, you could analyze all of these documents together, get the right context, content as per your requirement. Also, if you're having a conversation like we are right now, and the conversation is getting recorded, and you possibly have a transcribe of that conversation, You can use AI assistant to generate your meeting notes, MOMs, so that you are not building things from scratch, because at times it does take me 1 hour to write my MOM just from a meeting I've had, right? So
Correct.
such a tool will convert this 1 hour that I spend analyzing and thinking about what to write from in a meeting to maybe a few minutes. So across your organization, as I said, be it finance, IT, procurement, supply chain, marketing, sales, everybody is using everybody has documents, right? First, some of us are reading, editing, creating, collaborating, sharing these documents, but all of us are harnessing these documents for some information or the other. So it's imperative, especially with some of the numbers given, like there are 3 trillion PDFs across the world. 40% of the documents that we receive or attachments that are received via Outlook are PDF. And PDF is also one of the #1 file format that is stored in SharePoint, right? Keeping citing these numbers and the fact that all departments across your organization are dealing with documents, we need to have an AI solution to help them. So let's see how AI assistant will now come in play and help certain personas across your organization. Any questions so far?
We don't have any questions yet,
Yeah,
but then audience, do chip in with your questions. We'd be more than happy to have them addressed.
yeah,
But yeah, Ketika, I think that's going to be a good start. I think once you pull up the demos and demonstrate what AI assistants can do, that in my experience gives rise to a lot of questions. And I've got some
absolutely.
questions for myself as well, that I would love to have them clarified, and love your point of view on that.
Yeah, and I think Bhavesh has put in a question. So thank you, Bhavesh. How do we retain individuality and IP in the face of generative AI-led document engagement? I think that's a beautiful question, right?
Yeah, that's a perfect use case as well. I think we've been seeing
Yeah,
this, and the originality of documents, or the originality of thought, actually comes under question once uh,
absolutely.
you start leveraging LLMs. What's your take on this? What have you observed? Um,
Yeah.
are you
So I
seeing this
think
kind of a shift?
not a shift, and I think Bhavesh, I think you have kind of hit the hammer on the nail, literally. But because the thing is, how do we retain individuality and IP in the face of generative AI-led document engagement? Bhavesh, what we need to understand is whenever you're consuming generative AI or any LLM model, they've been trained on a set of data, right? This data, this information, this language has not yet been created. It's being trained on that set. And you're using this language to harness more information from documents that you have. Now, whenever you talk about individuality and IP, you're creating something from scratch. Here, what we are saying is when you have tools like AI Assistant, don't spend time in rephrasing a contract or the risks associated with that contract. Maybe spend more time in drafting that contract. Or suppose, in fact, this is also one of the use cases, especially because you spoke about IP, right? We have a lot of research teams who use our solution. LLM and any large language model, whenever they're giving an output, treat them as like someone said this to me and it has stuck with me. Treat them as the tongue and not the brain, right? So they are just kind of rephrasing, taking that information, rephrasing it for you, but they're not creating anything original. So creating an IP and individuality is completely different, because as a researcher, I would read tens and thousands of documents, right, to harness information and then go ahead and create my own. So we are just making it easy for you to read those 10,000 documents. That's it. We're not creating the 10,001st document that is going to be your IP, your individuality. So and it's debatable as well. So, but a good start. Naval has asked, is generative AI really been making differences when it comes to business users, operations? in BFSI? Yes, Naval. So the thing is, of course, there is a little bit of acceptance from a technology perspective also that we are hoping for teams to have. But definitely, we have had like finance teams, not BFSI particularly, but finance team look into documents like earning reports, and I'm going to share that as an example also here. Also, suppose you're in BFSI segment and you're someone who deals with, you're a mutual fund manager, right? You need to understand the reports that are the quarterly, the yearly reports that are given across, you know, that come across your table about, where should your next investment go and things like that. We can help you harness that information. So there is definitely a need, there's definitely a use case, but as I say, we are technology people, right? We understand technology. Where to fit in that technology, we would love to work with you and get that right. But these are few use cases that we have on the top of our mind, right? Which LLM model is more effective? Naval has again asked, which LLM model is more effective when it comes to responding with right answers? Also, which one is cost effective? So Naval, there are multiple LLM models out there. It completely depends on what you need. Today, what I'm going to show you, and I'm going to take it to the demo after this question. Uh, what we can help you do is harness information from documents. There are a lot of LLMs out there. Some are scanning documents, some are scanning your details from your team's data shared in folders, or some are looking at your emails and then giving you responses. What I'm showing you today is something that is strictly linked to the documents that you will be seeing, and we'll also, like, I'll show you in how we are ensuring that we can verify these responses. So I feel the question needs to be tweaked here. The question shouldn't be, is it the right response? Who decides the right response, right? Soumik and I may be looking at the same document, but we have different needs. So the right response for different people means different. But if we can put or contextualize a question in a particular way, and ask that question and have the ability and capability to verify the response that has been given by AI assistant, that's where the shift will happen. Not asking if this is the right or the wrong response, because contextually it might be different. You might need to rephrase and use the tool better there. Okay, so Naval, I know you have another question. We'll take that towards the end now. So thanks for warming this up. It really helps me when everyone asks such great questions. So we'll dive back and help Rashi, analyze multiple contracts. So Rashi is actually someone in the procurement department belonging to a company called Bodea. Now she's received this particular contract, and this contract is a 2024 contract, and she wants to first understand what are the top points, what are the certain important clauses, what are the details that this contract entails. So in that case, Rashi clicks on generative summary, which helps her generate the summary of the entire contract, right? It gives her the contract ID, amount, start date, end date, all the important points of the contract are displayed right here. Then it gives us certain important clauses like termination clause, liability clause, so on and so forth. Now, this is where verification or ensuring that this response is right for you comes in. So as you can see, we've got these attributions that are sprinkled across the response that AI has generated for you, AI assistant. And you can click on these attributions and understand where this particular intent has been drawn from. Hence, verifying the content that AI assistant is creating for you as you read. Now, this is the most important piece, because this is what will help you improve your productivity. You've got a response, you've got the summary. all you have to do is to read it. That's where you will be spending your most time, rather than trying to look through the entire 8 or 100-page document, 200-page document, so on and so forth, just to understand what is important for you. So here it is pulling up the important points and also sprinkling attribution so that you know that, okay, this has been picked up from here. Hence, I can go ahead and take it. So now we'll learn, but this is not enough for Rashi. Rashi actually is also going to go into negotiations with the Altura Tech team, and she wants to understand how to go about it. So again, she'll click on AI Assistant. AI Assistant opens up, and she wants to actually include certain previous contracts that she has had with Altura Tech, because it's a organization that they contract with every 2 years. So in 2018, she's every 6 years. So she's picked up the 2018 contract, clicks on open. So now she's looking at multiple documents. You can have up to 10 documents in different formats, right? And she asks the question that prepare possible areas of negotiation in an upcoming contract renewal discussion, including current terms and strategic advice, and put it in a table format, right? So she's asking this elaborate question, putting in the right context, putting in her ask and why she needs that ask, so that AI can give her an appropriate, AI assistant can give her the appropriate information. So here AI assistant tells her that, okay, these are the certain areas that we're going to look at. These are the current terms in those areas. And this is the strategic advice that we are going to give you to, take this negotiation ahead. So she's not building from scratch anymore. Sometimes there is that fear of blank page. So if someone tells me to write down a negotiation strategy, the fear of that blank page is real. It's you would have also like come across this when you have to start from scratch. Now that if you have something in line or in place for you, it's easier to edit, ensure, verify it, tweak it, add newer points, right? All of that you can do. And this will then help improve your productivity. So again, we have the goodness of attributions, wherein we can see and read where all of these responses are coming from, ensuring that they are right for the organization, and we can copy them and I can share them with my team that, okay, please go ahead. This is going to be our strategy after all our tweaks. Right. So with a solution like this, we can help Rashi save easily 8 or 2 to 4 hours. But even more than that, in case, she deals a lot more with documents. So before I move on to the next scenario, I saw that there've been questions that are coming up.
Yeah, we table the questions because a lot of these questions are in line with some of the questions that we've got in store for you. So keep those questions coming, ladies and gentlemen. We'd be happy to have them addressed. But yes, very very heartening to see the questions coming in. They're very relevant ones and
Yeah,
very much in line with the talking points today and the ones that I had prepared as well.
yeah, absolutely. Fair enough. I think let's go through the demos and then let's go through this discussion. Keep these questions coming, and because a few of these questions around responsibility, ethical use, Devanand, I'm going to answer during the session itself. So keep these questions coming. There are certain out of the box thinking also in there, which I like. So yeah. Okay, so we are now going to take an example of Rahul. So meet Rahul. Rahul is someone from the finance team, and he wants to make a prediction or analyze certain earning call transcripts across certain organization, right? So he's got this earning call transcript. He clicks on AI assistant, adds the relevant few other earning call transcripts that he has from companies in the same industry, because that's what he's working on. He is working on analyzing the trends in a particular industry. So he's going to compare these earning call reports across these organizations on various aspects like growth, hiring, in a tabular format. And then in a click of a button, He gets this across various aspects of revenue growth, hiring, wages, segmental growth, technology, so on and so forth. Again, he can go ahead, review, correct, ensure that, verify all of these responses, looking at the attributions that are there. And then again, it becomes very easy for him to, share it on a slide with someone. This was the procurement demo in which we spoke about, how easy it was for Rashi to review the contract. So again, she opens the document up in Acrobat, creates a quick summary from that Acrobat, from the generative summary feature in Acrobat, and she understands the clauses that are there in the contract. And then if she has any specific questions around negotiations, she's able to add multiple contracts. She's able to ask the right questions, like what are the possible, discussion points, negotiation strategy. And in a click of a button, it is generating that table for her. So again, making it very easy for her to share this information across the team.
I think this serves as a great use case for BFSI, especially because, with the number of contracts and clauses, etc., I've seen a lot of IT leaders in BFSIs, talk about this particular use case.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in fact, not just in BFSI, this is a use case that is, I feel, across organization, because everybody is dealing with contracts. And in fact, Adobe has kind of specifically for contracts, we have got a specific way it is answering or giving the right information, right? So, I mean, we have put in this additional effort because contracts is where we see a lot of people using our solutions as well.
Absolutely.
So similarly, for analyzing earning call transcripts here, as Rahul, I've picked up 3 documents. Very easy for me to add these documents with this plus sign button. And I can go ahead, ask to compare these 3 earning call reports to understand the trends going on in this industry. Everything happens in a click of a button. Attributions are laid down right there. You can click on these attribution, understand where this content is coming from. So it is taking you to the position, the page where that content or intent has been drawn from. And you can copy and then share it with the team again, right? Another use case is around Amit. Amit is someone from our RFP team, and he needs to review RFPs on a daily basis, as well as analyze and respond to them. So here he is working on this RFP from Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation, wherein they wanted to set up CCTV surveillance. So here there are, he needs certain standard information like key dates and requirements in a tabular format. Asks that question, is able to generate that information in a click of a button. Also, he asks for the list of all prerequisites to participate in this particular RFP. And again, in a click of the button, he is taken through all the prerequisites across the document. This 110-page document, sometimes the prerequisites are right on top in a particular section, but sometimes prerequisites are also sprinkled across the document. So it will it'll help you harness those finer points as well. And once you're done with that, you can share this with your team, asking appropriate people to, fill in the right information. Now, suppose you need to respond to this RFP. I'm just taking an example. Suppose I need to respond, create a response to this RFP and write a letter of intent for an organization on how they will use our technology. So we all have our product and services brochures, right? So we can pull that information in, ask the right question that, okay, write a 1-pager for me. Or a letter of intent for me. So here you can see it has given me the letter of intent, highlighting the key benefits, so on and so forth, right? Again, making it very easy for me to copy the solution and paste it in another PDF and share it across. Again, Soumik, do you have a point? You wanted to say something?
No, Ketaki, go ahead, please.
Sorry. Then let's meet Radhika. Radhika is someone from from the marketing team here, marketing or sales team, but she could be really anybody in the business, right? Who is having these multiple meetings and need to understand the finer points of the meeting. So again, she fills, so we have integration with, in fact, Zoom and Teams, and you can leverage these integration that as soon as you open up your Acrobat, you'll be able to see the list of team recordings and transcribes that you have had in Acrobat itself. And then you can go ahead, open this document up, and it'll give you the summary of the entire meeting. And you can, it'll also give you next steps, right? Who is supposed to do what? Who is responsible for what using the AI assistant feature? Now, I think this is one of the most important points, right? The elephant in the room is not the technology. It's but how you use the technology and the ability to ask the right question to make the technology work as you want it to work, right? So you can only make it work as you want it to work by asking the right question. And any question that you ask needs to have these 5 parameters. Parameters around what is the task you wanted to accomplish. So here it is, list the type of purchases that require a purchase order. What is the tone you want to request this information in? I want it in a clear, professional tone. What is the format? Do you want bullet points? Do you want to write an email to someone? Do you want a tabular structure? Do you want a paragraph? So how do you want this format to be? Also given examples, like detailing the definition and region it applies to. So we would want this information to be included in the response you give us. And the context. Why are you requesting for this information? So that the employees can clearly relay and rely and understand what purchase requires a PO. That's why I'm requesting this information, because I can share it with the employees, right? Now, a lot of people ask me, why do we need to, give in such details? We need to give these details if we want the right answer. That's the simple response I have. But also when you talk to AI assistant, treat it like your assistant, you know. So your assistant may not have your know-how, otherwise they'll be doing your job. You still need to exactly tell them what you want. Like if you have someone helping you around in the office, you need to give clear directions. Okay, book my flight from so and so date at so and so time between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. so that I'm in my next place. So you have to give in very validated information, even when you're talking to your normal human assistants, right? So treat your AI assistant like an actual assistant and empower it with the information you would want it to create or work on. So that would be my advice whenever you're using AI assistant, to get responses as per your liking.
Ketaki, just one quick question around the context part of it. While format, task, and tone, I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory. The context part of it, we hear a lot about contextual AI, and what best practices would you want to share with IT leaders when it comes to adding context for AI assistants to read better or to come up with better results?
Absolutely. Great question. So I think just be true. True, in fact, what you're asking for. Like in this last question where I was asking the AI assistant to create a letter of intent, right? I'm asking it to create a letter of intent to respond to an RFP for a certain organization, for the purpose and the ability to maybe, make it easy for them to look into our solution. So laying down that context, just be true to what your situation is. But what I have seen is whenever you lay down the context, right? There are certain, like whenever you talk about language, there are words and the flow it carries. There is a
Yeah, the
certain
nuances, yeah.
intent in the background that works. So your context helps with that background intent of the response, not just keeping it with a bunch of words that are being created. So don't, like I've had people reach out and say that, but we ask the question, we ask, please create a table with this data, but it doesn't do the job. It will not do the job because it doesn't really understand what you're asking, right? So
Right.
just be as descriptive as you can be in context portion of it. So with Adobe, what it is that you're getting, what is different that you're getting, right? It is a solution that is designed for documents. We can take in these complex, long, multi-doc formats, and we are able to extract the right information from them. Also, it is a solution that is built with trust and security. We do not do repository indexing. What that means is when you submit a document for analysis with Adobe Acrobat Sign, we are not training our LLM models on it. Also, we do not do web argumentation. What that means is whenever it is designing a response for you, it's picking information from the document that you're asking it to look at, not from the web. Also the quality, right? The quality, the output is only going to be as good as the input. So Adobe, because we have had that experience with Document Cloud for last 30 years, where we've given Acrobat, even as a free technology. Acrobat Reader is available freely across the world, right? We are able to understand the format of the structure of the document. So whenever you give us a PDF, we are able to break it down better, extract the right information from it. What that does is it helps us generate better output. And secondly, it helps us do those attributions that you saw, the blue boxes with numbers, which take you through where that particular responses have been picked up from a lot better. So in fact, a lot of our customers come to us and tell us that when it comes to documents, right, we find a stark difference when we are using your solution with others as compared to others as well. Also, this is a solution which is price and time to value. There is no deployment time that is particularly required. You take on a package, assign it to users, and you can start using it from day one. So you are in control of your data, just re-emphasizing on this point, because this is the top of the mind for any CIO, CXO persona. We are not using your data to train our models. We are only looking at the documents you tell it to. So again, that's a very big difference, right? This is an end user based technology. So suppose there are 10 people in the team and all 10 people have different access. We are able to ensure, because AI assistant is an end user based technology, the end user only the documents that they have access to, they'll be able to analyze. And now we have an ecosystem in which we can make access as we can really play around with access and ensure that we are assigning the right access to right people. So till the time you have got your access rights clear, you can be rest assured that the person will only look at the documents that they have. Also, customer has control and discretion to enable and disable storing chats, history, documents in the cloud. So we have the ability that at the browser level, at the web level, or the application level, that we store your questions and responses, so that 10 days from now, if you come back, you'll still have them. But again, we are not storing this on our server any which ways, and you also have an option to disable it, right? Then again, verifiable output can be deployed across the enterprise with specific controls available for enterprise to manage the solution across the organization. Also, such a solution, as you can see, AI assistant, when it comes to whenever it comes to documents, it's a better solution to use, right? Now you have AI solutions across your gamut of products. You will have your across your productivity solutions as well, you will have AI. But again, when you look at your gamut of products, you cannot just stick to one AI solution. Sorry for that. For the right use cases, for the right set of people, you need to determine which is the right product for them. So whenever you have people who are looking into a lot of documents, that's where you'll find the maximum use of AI assistant. Also, TCS used this particular technology to help summarize one of their conferences, wherein They've massively improved the turnaround time of generating content. Just excuse turnaround time for generating content post that particular conference, right? You have to give in, okay, what happened in the, I think Soumik and his team would be able to appreciate this.
Absolutely. 30 minutes to 4 minutes is music.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of pain, right, to summarize a particular meeting, transcribe that has been given to you.
Correct,
And
correct.
this, now you're just verifying that information.
True.
So again, a solution that can, help you with your documents. So we can open up for Q&A, and I would really appreciate if all of you are able to give your feedback for the session. Sorry, I didn't keep, I forgot to put on my presentation earlier on. Nevertheless, do give your feedback and we can walk through certain additional questions that you may have.
That's perfectly okay, Ketaki, no problem. I'll take a few, attendee questions that we've got. I'll take the first one from Naval Lad. So Naval is asking us which cloud service provider is getting really popular while implementing Gen AI use cases for businesses. So Ketaki, again, based on your experiences working with, enterprises, uh, what are they mostly turning towards? And also, what's the role of a cloud service provider? How important does it become when you're talking about leveraging AI or Gen AI use cases?
Actually, a lot of AI is right now positioned as a cloud service because you need to have that kind of processing power to, you know, build, design, and host an LLM model, right? So, of course, so there are a lot of options and the services providers that are out there. Now, the question around choosing the right fit for you, or which is the best, again, which is the best is not the question. The question is which is the right fit for you, right? And that would be determined by the requirement that you have. So how I see this happening in ecosystem is a lot of like everyone is there are a host of AI technologies out there, and these AI technologies are being developed by OEMs like us with a certain intent. Like for Adobe, the agenda is to problem solve for reading documents easily. These could be contracts, these could be any documents, right? So you need to, that's where your work would come in, wherein you work with us and vendors like us and multiple other solution providers to find the best users for the best kind of technology, right? I think having an enterprise-wide, right, solution for everyone, for certain productivity solutions, absolutely it's required. But we also need to be intentional to the needs of certain pockets as well, right? So we need to then kind of comprehend, which departments in the organization would require. But this, again, this statement would change from industry to industry, because if you look at pharmaceutical industry, wherein there is a lot of documentation out there, right?
Right.
So a solution to read the document is something that every person in the industry would need.
Mhm.
So you need to kind of have the right solution for the right stakeholders, and definitely work with your providers into how to match that particular fit, right? That would be my 2 cents on this.
Thanks for that, Ketaki. Devanand's question, of course, very relevant, but Devanand, I'm going to table it for now. But before that, let me quickly pick up Rajinder's question. Rajinder Rain, he says that he's got a requirement to summarize using AI assistant to read old manuscripts. So I'm sure you know that's one of the use cases that you can also find for your AI assistant. Um, he wants
Absolutely.
to finding out the retail costing, but before the costing, how do you authenticate that the details are summarized rightly, or this authentication, if you can just tell me how does it work with your AI assistant? How do you ensure its accuracy?
Absolutely. And I think that's a very good question, right? So there are two aspects here from what Rajendra has asked, because you wanted to read old manuscripts. Old manuscripts actually happen to be from my knowledge, a lot of documents that are stored in the back of the cupboard, right? So first thing is you would need to scan these documents, and I would recommend that you scan these documents using a high-end scanner, which you should be able to do. And once you have scanned these documents with AI Assistant, we can actually help you read scan documents now. So that's part one of the question. Then the question is around, accuracy. How do we know that it has generated an accurate, response? Again, accuracy is something that is dependent on the end user. So the more nuanced you make your question to be with using those 5 pillars like I spoke about, the better responses you will get, right? And after you've got those responses, you have the ability to work through those attributions and annotations, the numbered blue boxes that you saw, to verify if all of these statements are true in reference with the document, right? So putting these two together, where you have stated your ask accurately and your the response, you've been able to verify that, you will be able to get, the answer that you are hoping to get. Because again, there is no right or accuracy, and right and wrong is dependent actually on the owner. I'll give you a small example. Like, let's take a contract. There's a legal team that is looking at a contract, right? There's also a procurement team or the sales team looking at the same contract. Sales team is worried about when the contract is going to be renewed. The legal team is looking that, okay, are we protecting our own assets using this contract? So the intent of those two personas is very different. But generation of a summary of that contract is one. So it is going to give you one summary. Now, the way you use it, the way you ask your questions is what is going to determine how the responses you get. So again, that's how, you have to kind of take this and play around it, so that it'll fit or make it work for you specifically. That's the thing that you need to do with AI assistant. You have to make it work for you. Ask the right questions. Ensure that you're giving the right inputs so that AI assistant is able to help you better. I hope that answers.
All right. Thank you so much, Rajendra, for your question. Naval already has a compliment. Thanks a lot. The session was really insightful and very useful. Not was, it still is. So please, Naval, hang on. We still have a lot more to share with you. But before that, let me take up Devanand's question. So we've got Devanand Santanam, who's asking us, how do we ensure that the AI-assisted model is responsible and ethical in its use? And this is a very pertinent question. Thanks so much for that, Devanand. That's another another one of the questions that I had, especially given the fact that we don't have certain guardrails, or we don't have those ethics principles or guardrails at this point in time. How do you go about ensuring that your AI models that either you're developing or the one that you're procuring or buying is ethical in nature?
So Adobe actually works on the principle of responsibility, accountability, and transparency when it comes to generative AI. We are responsible for the LLM solutions and the solutions that we create. We are accountable for it and also transparent about our practices. That's number one. That being said, we have, as you saw earlier, in Your Data Remains Your section, wherein I'm specifically talking about, the guardrails that we have set up, ensuring the right users are using or viewing only their content, right? So we have mapped all of that, and we are also securing, we are not training the solution on your data. And also, after every 12 hours, right, our cache gets deleted. So whenever you ask a question to an AI, any AI, generative AI, the question and the responses are cached for certain time. For us, that time is 12 hours, which is relatively smaller than any of other AI solutions out there as well. And some of our customers are deeply appreciative of this fact, right? So hence so what I'm trying to say is, from a process perspective, from people perspective, from technology perspective. We have got levels that have been put in to ensure that we are responsible and ethical in that in the use. I mean, there is a little bit of censored information also, that if you put in certain things, it will censor those things as well for you. So we have put in guardrails around, ensuring that the solution that we we have created can be used in a responsible and ethical manner.
Another one of Rajendra's question, I'll just as a succession to the one that he asked before. So, does your model, does it analyze the data of the pricing or the commercial information are available across multiple PDFs?
Absolutely. So, suppose you've signed a contract and that had the pricing information across multiple PDFs. You could easily ask it to compare the contract A to contract B, comparing the pricing model. Detail, nuance the question as much as you can. That would be my ask.
All right. Another very relevant question that's just coming from Himanshu Manghani. And Himanshu is asking us, what are some of the effective strategies for predicting and managing the costs associated with AI workloads in the cloud, and also optimization of cloud utilization, of resource utilization? I would want to also add in one of my questions, Ketaki, and that is, a lot of companies out there, especially the startups, they are worried about ROI. They're investing in AI or Gen AI or AI assistants. How do you ensure they're able to get ROI?
Absolutely. And that as you rightly said, right? So right now we are working with organizations to kind of make them understand the value realization of the uh, of of the solutions that they carry. But especially when you talk about Acrobat AI Assistant, as you saw, it's pretty easy for, it makes it very easy to kind of get an ROI, because it's a solution that's easy to deploy. You can start using it from day one, and your employees, once with a little bit of training on prompt engineering, will start using it effectively from day one. So the return on investment on time, on the reduced turnaround time to the task assigned, could be hoped. Right. So that would be from an ROI perspective, that, and again, we are helping. This is a new technology. We are also working with the customer to, better kind of understand the ROI. Although we do have certain reports wherein we have effectively, and case studies that have said that, the numbers that I spoke about, right? Like 2 to 4 hours. They're not randomly picked up numbers. These are studies in the back end that have been conducted, wherein we have seen this is the minimum amount of efficiency that you get. But if you're using AI on a daily basis across a lot of your requirements, it could be even more.
All right. Thank you so much for that. We've got another question coming in from Satyaraj. He's asking us, does Adobe use proprietary or open source LLMs or third-party APIs like GPT for the brains behind your AI assistant?
Yeah, so we do use third-party LLM solutions, in the back end, but we are not stuck onto one, right? We will use the best of the brands to provide you the best of the service possible. And as and when the needs evolve, we would also be open to, considering other LLMs and things like that. So we are not like tied to the hip with one. We will shift in case there is a need, and in case the customer responds, customer needs it. See, when you talk to Adobe, our proprietary claim is the extraction, right? Wherein we are able to get the nuanced information from document. Because of that nuanced information, it really like helps us, sets us apart, because the input that you're giving is only going to result in a better and more nuanced output. And that is the difference also that our customers see. So we are doing the best that we can with the technology that we have. If there in the market we find suitable partners, we partner with them to provide the best products and services for you. So that's the response to Satya. Nice question.
Good question, though, Satyaraj. Thank you for that question. Folks, we've got a couple of minutes left. Do chip in with your questions if you've got any. Ketaki, just tell us what's the next leg of Gen AI revolution going to look like? We already have AI assistants. How do you think the next 2 or 3 years are going to play out? What additional capabilities can people look forward to?
I think there's a lot that I think there's a lot in works as well. As we speak, Adobe is going to be coming out with certain really amazing pieces around its AI functions related to videos and audios as well. Right? So it is there. So there's a lot in work. There's a lot that is happening, and I think the focus of a lot of organizations is now on AI and harnessing its wealth, right? So since there is a lot of commit from the people and from the organization, there are a lot of people working on it, a lot of time working on it. There is a lot of breakthroughs that we are going to in the time to come, we'll surely have a story to say, maybe as much as next week itself. So things like that, right? So a lot of stuff happening there.
Absolutely, I can understand. Uh, I'll take another one of the questions, and this comes in from Saurabh Tiwari again, a very relevant question. Why AI lessons? Why AI fails? Now, if you could just give us in general, what you've learned from your observations, lessons learned from real world implementations. AI projects do have a failure rate of between 70 to 80%. So, what would be your advice? How do you get AI projects right the first time?
So I so just talking from a Acrobat AI assistant perspective, because that's where I've seen implementations also happen, and what you can do to kind of improve on to those implementation. I feel there is still a learning curve in how to utilize this technology, right? And we think it is as simple as asking the right question, but asking and framing that right. Oh, am I still not sharing my screen?
No, yeah, we've got the Q&A and the feedback slide displaying right now.
Okay. Please give your feedback as well, team. Yeah. So from my perspective, if we can, whenever you kind of give this technology out to the people inside your organization and ensure that they use it, I would recommend having a training session, right? Something as simple as training session, just even if it is a simple one wherein you have that one slide which I spoke about, in writing the right kind of prompts. So if you can train the people to give them use cases, help them understand how they'll use it in their work, it'll make it easier for to have a smooth implementation, right? And not just a smooth implementation, but an implementation that people will actually use. From an implementation perspective, that for AI assistant, there's no implementation required. There's just assigning of packages, which you do, and people get started on day one. But what if you accompany it with a small training, maybe have a video training, accumulate people in the room, have someone try out things, so then they'll be more encouraged and nuanced to be using new technology, because every new technology, and I think been in the industry for 12 years, I've seen a few waves of technologies come in and go. Every new technology has a learning curve, right? Even the simplest of technology will have the biggest of learning curves. So we need to work with our people and ensure that we position the technology well, so that they can start using and using it in their daily work. Yeah.
All right, Ketaki, thank you so much for that. Well, folks, that's pretty much all that we have time for today. Thank you, Ketaki. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. Great presentation as well. And thank you, audience, for sharing your questions with us. For those of you who haven't yet scanned the QR code, request you to please do so and leave your feedback. It's really important for both Adobe as well as for the economic times. With that said, I think we would want to, Satish also says thank you. Thank you again, Satish, for tuning in. All right, folks, you guys have a great evening ahead. With that said, this is Soumik Ghosh signing off on behalf of ETCIO. Thanks again, Ketaki. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Soumik. Thank you, everyone, for joining in and listening. Bye-bye.